Hi there. Hi. It seems like there may be some errors. I just got another message, and it's been happening. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. But it seems like the person who's been setting it up has been that there's something that's not working right. But anyway, for those of you who are here, for those of you who are getting this, I think the last time we ran it, um, LinkedIn and YouTube were both working. So, hi, hi, Jerry. Jerry's on YouTube. She's telling me it's working, and she's asking about the um, appointment I had on Friday at the University of Pennsylvania Hospital. I think it's called Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania. Anyway, I call it UPenn, but um, I was told that they just call it Penn. Anyway, I do want to share it with you. But first, let me say, wow, what a ride. I'll say it. I pretty much say it every week, but welcome to, the next installment of Learning to Live with Lipedema and Lymphedema. Hi, Julie. Um, oh, I'm so glad to see you. Hi, Julie. Um, it's been quite a journey. So I've finally seen, I think, out of the current array of docs, someone who is not only skillful in understanding rehabilitation, but extremely knowledgeable about the lymphatic system. And that is a miracle. Dr. Jasmine Zhang is at UPenn. Her expertise is actually with cancer patients. Uh, Here, they missed me. I've been gone for 3 days. I'm just coming back, you guys, which is why I'm on my phone rather than my computer because I'm still not. I mean, I literally just came and got a session because of the swelling and picked up my phone. And here's my cat welcoming me home. Did you see that? She was kissing my cheek. Hi, Carol and Jerry and Julie. So, part of the ride is understanding the lymphatic system. And Dr. Zhang, as I said, is incredibly knowledgeable about it. So, my appointment with her went very well. Now, you got to get that I traveled 7 hours. I left Boston at well, I got up like at 4. By the time I got everything packed and, settled in, it was about 7. I left around 7 and I got into UPenn around 1:30. So 6.5 hours, close to 7 hours actually, by the time all was said and done, almost 7 hours. So it was a 7-hour drive to see Dr. Zhang. It was worth it, truly worth it. So I'm dealing with, as if you've been on my blog, on this vlog at all, you know that I'm having what's called central lymphatic dysfunction. And it's not going to go away none too soon. I am scheduled for a surgical intervention. I did have surgery in May. It was a angioplasty, like a balloon that they open up the duct to get the lymphatic flow going. and it worked for a little while, but it didn't last. So they need something a little stronger. I don't know. And then last weekend, I did something called the Perrin technique, which was fabulous. I can't remember if I talked about it or not. Absolutely fabulous. So I am doing more work researching the Perrin technique and how it might be helpful, because it is a technique that moves the cerebral spinal fluid and lymphatic fluid to help um, rid the body of the toxins, and in the brain as well. So the brain and the spine. So research, that's at the bottom line of, what we do. We do always trying to find solutions for these complex issues that we deal with on a daily basis. So, um, but let me talk about some of the highlights, because I think it's the highlights that are that last. So seeing Dr. Zhang was definitely a highlight. I found her to be knowledgeable, very compassionate, very skillful. And I invited her, and she said yes to come and give a talk to the community at our upcoming event. You're not going to want to miss it. Because I'm on my phone, I don't have the ability to put the links in the chat, but all you need to do is go to lipedema-simplified.org, and there's info. We have a free webinar that we're doing on Thursday. Come to that if you can. Lisa Duray and I are doing it, and it's going to be really good. Okay, Julie. Hi, Julie. Um, oh, Julie, it's so good to see you. Um, so I want to talk about highlights. Always. Um, a friend of mine, whenever we would have a project together or whenever we would do something, she would always say, what were the highlights and what were the lowlights? And usually from the lowlights, what can you learn from that? I'll tell you my lowlight. Driving in the car for hours and swelling. This whole issue with dealing with the swelling is pretty intense right now. So stop, get out, walk around. I did it several times both ways. I did the best I could. The other thing that I did, so moving from lowlights to highlights, or part of it is because of the lowlights, I called and got a session with a massage yesterday, and I called my um, massage therapist, and she came, literally met me right after I pulled in from the trip today, about 2 o'clock, and gave me a session that brought me to here. So she just left about half hour ago. Um, and so, in order to help with the swelling, that's the bottom line, to help with the swelling. But highlights for me personally, and I'm going to share those, was Judy is one of our lipedema ladies, and she and I have been talking for years. I cannot even remember. We tried to remember the first time she called me for help around lipedema, and she's been in many of our classes and has been just a incredibly lovely contributor to whatever we're doing. She's in the wisdom circles, and she's been um, just wonderful. Anyway, she lives in Philadelphia, and so she said, like, let's have, whatever. So we went out for lunch, late lunch earlier, and just sat and chatted and chatted and chatted and laughed a lot and just were able to, be together and not only talk about lipedema, but talk about many, many other things. And one of the things that she texted me is, I'm so glad we both felt so comfortable to just be authentic and really who we are. So that was just a high point for me. And on, when was it? Must have been Friday. Yeah, because that was the day I had the appointment with Dr. Zhang. So there was there was a snafu, and so Judy and I ended up joining in with um, Leslin and doing our Friday afternoon update on what's new and coming up with lipedema, and from a lovely outdoor cafe in Philadelphia. It was so much fun. And if you caught it, I'm sure you caught some of the spirit that we were both in. And anyway, it was definitely a highlight. And another highlight was, after the appointment with Dr. Zhang and after a really fun time with Judy, I drove to Akanksha's. Akanksha lives in New Jersey, and she has been working with me and Lipedema Simplified since almost the beginning. She was the first person that I hired. Um, Trying to remember, I had various and sundry people come and go, but Akanksha I hired, and we were trying to remember. And the best of our ability, we think it was 2016. But anyway, she's been working for me and Lipedema Simplified and Project ever since. And in the beginning, we were laughing because, you know, we really didn't know what we were doing. We're both techies, and so we just sort of would dive in and say, all right, we need to put, we have to do this membership thing, and we did a few summits, and we needed to do all the audio, and how we were going to do that. And somehow together, we just figured it out. And now, um, so I got a chance. And the other thing that was very, very, very special for me was that I got to spend time physically with her and her husband and her young son. They have a 5-year-old son, Orion. And I knew her before and went through, like, her going through the process of getting pregnant and getting pregnant and having a pregnancy and having a baby and, then all the other stuff. Anyway, it was just wonderful. I mean, of course, I've spent many a day on Zoom with Akanksha and with Orion, because oftentimes Orion will be around. Oh my God, it was so lovely. It was just lovely. And so I feel that while being here and being able to hold up my cell phone, my iPhone, and talk to you in StreamYard, and the many, many, many different Zoom meetings that we have, and webinars, and even our big events, there's something quite special being face to face and being live with someone. Um, so Peggy asks about Thursday's webinar, if it will be recorded. Yes, you sign up for it, and we'll send out the replay to everybody who's signed up. So definitely, probably within a day. Usually we can get it out within a day, maybe 2 days. So So that's a good place for me to pivot and talk about. Well, first, let me finish up. Being with Akanksha was absolutely wonderful. So we just talked, and then spent quiet time. She has a beautiful outdoor, um, more in the country. I'm more in the city. I love being in the country. I would love, who knows, someday we'll see what happens. But um, let me talk about Thursday. So every experience brings with it, as I've been talking, highlights and lowlights and opportunities. In fact, the Chinese characters for opportunity is something like, you know, that there's danger and yet there's an opportunity. I didn't get that quite right. I'm going to look it up, check back next week. But essentially, um, having dealing with all these central lymphatic issues over the past, it's been like 8 months. God, if anyone told me when I would have, as with everything, when I started down the road of lipedema, I never thought, 12, 14 years later, I'd still be talking about it. But here it is with the central lymphatic dysfunction. And, and as I navigate, my new favorite word is navigate. It's like, sort of figure it all out, or what as much of it as I can. I'm so aware that, like going mountain climbing, especially, one of my on my bucket list was always to go to Kathmandu and climb in the Himalayas. Not going to happen in this lifetime, but the whole idea of, you have a Sherpa. They call them Sherpers. They're guides. And those guides, they know enough about the territory that they can help guide the path. And I feel like that's the kind of relationship with Dr. Carmody, for instance, who many of you know and have spent time with, and now Dr. Zhang, someone who knows the territory that can help guide. But what I continually am convinced of, that it's only you who know your body. It's only me that knows my body. And I'm the only one. And that, like learning a new language almost, it's learning the language of my body. And that's what I feel like I've been doing. I'm going to be talking about this at length on Thursday, because I think ultimately we need to learn the language of our bodies, and all of our languages are different. And it's learning and opening up the communication channels that's going to make a difference. And I'm convinced of it. Um, Hi, Susan. How are things in South Africa? It's good to see you. It's been a while. So, God, great turnout tonight. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for hanging out. So, that's what the webinar on Thursday is going to be about. Well, also, I usually do an overview of lipedema because we have a lot of new people coming in these days, which is good. Mm. But it's really, what's your body saying? What is it? How is it? How do you listen? Pause and listen and respond. So that's what I've been diving into lately. And I'm going to be so happy to share it with you all on Thursday. So, I think that's it for tonight. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. It's early evening here in Boston and New England. I hope all you guys in California are doing okay. I checked in to see, what's happening with the hurricane, and they said they downgraded it to a tropical storm. So I hope you're all okay and sending lots and lots of love. Have a wonderful week. Yay. Yay. And I will hopefully see you all on Thursday. Bye.